AFI is like the U2 of punk. I know that's going to piss a lot of people off, but let me ramble for a second and then you can yell at me. All right, what's up, eggnogs? Welcome to a holiday episode of Guarsenio's High School CD Booklet Review. For this episode, I dressed up like Jewish Santa. I know it actually looks like Just for Mayhem, but it's Jewish Santa. And this week, I swear to God, these are random. We're talking about AFI's DecemberUnderground. I can't even take myself seriously. I look like Kenny Loggins possessed by the Venom symbiote.
What the hell are you? We are Venom.
It's got to be pretty clear by now that AFI was one of my favorite bands in high school because they're making their third appearance on this show. I feel like I've talked enough about my history with the band in the older episodes, so if you want some more context, check out the Black Sails in the Sunset episode or the Sing the Sorrow episode. I mentioned on the Sing the Sorrow episode that AFI missed their chance at being the big Warped Tour band in the early 2000s because Davey Havok heard his voice and they had to cancel the tour, and then they just disappeared until 2006 when they returned with DecemberUnderground, or as I call it, the AFI is coming back to get their money album. The gap between Sing the Sorrow to this was the first hiatus I had experienced as a fan of a band. And because of that, my anticipation for this album was off the charts. I was the most hyped. And then they dropped the Miss Murder single, and it was definitely a song that I told myself that I liked a lot more than I did. Internally, I was pretty bummed out. But you know what? AFI as a band are just too talented to put out something that truly sucks. They don't have it. It's not in their blood. And listening to this today, especially with the context of all the other albums we've done on the show, I totally got what they were going for. This is them coming out of retirement, looking at the state of the 2005 music scene and going, anything you can do, AFI can do better. And they're kind of right. So yeah, that's my take on this album. It's just AFI cherry-picking elements from all the different bands that capitalized on Sing the Sorrow and kind of making their most successful album of their career. They were like, all right, what are the kids doing now? We can buy the Melissa Cross DVD. We can cut her hair like the wing of a beautiful bird. Blink-182 is melodramatic and doesn't sing about dick or poop anymore. We can be even more melodramatic. Green Day's wearing red eyeshadow, black dress shirts, and writing the simplest songs of their career. We can write even simpler songs. Well, simple for late period AFI, I guess. It's absolutely not one of my favorite AFI albums, but it's just not that bad. And it's the best case scenario from a band essentially making an album based off of what they heard in a 2005 Warped Tour focus group. This is AFI's biggest album, but it is also the point where a lot of people my age started to give up on AFI. AFI is like the U2 of punk. I know that's gonna piss a lot of people off, but let me ramble for a second and then you can yell at me. Both bands start their careers with 2 albums of a messy, unpolished sound that they are undeniably skilled at and gain some respectable buzz for. Then by the 3rd album, they're getting more into that sound that they're going to become known for and also gaining their hardcore fan base. And after that, both bands released their most commercially successful albums, but also their most divisive. Like some earlier fans are pissed, but the audience growth is undeniable. And then afterwards, both bands receive more and more backlash with each following release. I think both bands have similar career paths because they have the same strength and flaw, and it's that they're achingly sincere. Both bands have made jokes at times, but their art is not a joke. They don't have an ironic bone in their body when it comes to making music. They are both aggressive with their messages and desperate to keep people on their toes. When a band wears their hearts entirely on their sleeves and is that aggressive with their message, if there's enough talent, it's absolutely going to lead to great success. But inevitably, it's going to lead to your lows. And AFI now just seems content with constantly trying to make the most interesting radio rock music of all time, which is totally fine. They're a super talented band. Get that money. I'm just, not that interested to hear it. Let's talk about this album art. This looks like someone ran out of money halfway through getting their Godsmack belly button tattoo lasered off. This looks like a stamp commemorating the collective realization that Donnie Darko is a shitty movie. This is what it looks like when Tim Burton makes Annie's Organic mac and cheese. This looks like a summoning circle to bring a Funko Pop back from the dead. This looks like the coat of arms for a family in Ireland that's famous for taking really lame photographs using the film stock Kodak P Max 69 420. That's the only take of that you're getting. This looks like the Girl Scout badge you get when you move into your serial killers are fascinating phase. I don't know, who am I to judge these guys? I look like the ghost of Christmas OxyClean. But yeah, to sum up, it's not my thing, but AFI can't really make a bad album. But yeah, that does it for this week's episode. We got a comment section. If you want to let me know that you think the all-white stage getup that they were doing at this time was kind of lame, I'll agree with that. It kind of sucked. Everybody was doing it. It was played out. Next week, we're talking about Fear Before the March of Flames, the needle in a time stack of band names.
It's 2 minutes to late night!